Thank you so much for taking the time out to listen. Today I am here with musician Victor Kemp, also known as Mr. VPK6. Hello, Victor.
Hey, how's it going?
Pretty good. So I'm taking this time out to interview you because I know that you have been one of those YouTubers who have been just creating all sorts of music. You've been dancing in your videos. You have been coming up with your own songs, just doing a number of different things. And so, whenever somebody is doing something positive, especially our young people, that is always a good opportunity to just reach out and say, hey, I just want to acknowledge you, let you know that you're doing a great job. Some of the things, though, that as a believer in Christ, we understand that you have been an individual that has attended church, you have, read your Bible, you have prayed, but as you are getting older, there are some things that some of the listeners and other people within the family have taken a look and have called some things into question. So we're going to get into that. But in the meantime, though, tell us a bit about yourself and how you came to know God.
So I all started in the church as well. I attended this Baptist church in California, and after that, it was this warm feeling that came over my body. I was dealing with a lot of stress and just like issues back in the PA, and I didn't really come to God as much around that time. It was around, I believe, 2014 and 2015ish. So I moved with my mom, and then once I moved from Pennsylvania to California, my mom recommended to just you want to attend this church because it was just after I came from PA, and then we moved, and then I lived with my mom in California. So after that, it was just change that came over my body of just stepping up. I just didn't want to go to church right away. It was a little iffy. I was just kind of like, I don't know if I want to go. I was only like 15 at that time, and then I remember I went to church and I just had like a sadness that came over my body once the pastor started preaching and he was saying certain things that kind of touched me, like, oh no, and I just, he wanted me to come up there to the front of front of the church, and then I just was like, okay, let it give it all to God, and I raised my hands up so high, and you could just see the tears coming through my eyes, and after that, I was just like, I felt good, and I was telling me, do you want to get baptized in the back? So I was like in the back of the church. He was telling me, you want to get baptized? And I was like, yes, I'm willing to want to do it. And it was before the 4th of July, so it would have been like 2015 before the 4th of July. So that was 5 years ago already. Jeez.
Wow.
So yeah, 5 years ago I got baptized before the 4th of July. The day before the 4th of July, I believe, yeah. It was July 3rd, 2015. So after that, I just was like trying to stay consistent. There was some stuff here and there. Definitely, like, it's hard once you get baptized. A few weeks later, there's always going to be that temptation. But to me, I was just kind of like, let me just give it all to God on the times when people are stressing me out. Because at that time, I didn't have a job. I was 15. So I was just trying to adjust to a new school in California. And then I seen some kids that were going through, their share. And I was just, when I came home, I was just spending some time with God and just praying and hoping, they can get their, life together. Because in California, what I noticed, a lot of kids that went to school fell very fast. So I would hear like drama here and there, and then like messing with the teacher, like mocking him, because this guy was like deaf in my class. He was half deaf, so he would talk, and then they would start making fun of him. And I was like, that's messed up. I was telling him like, that's not right. Shouldn't be doing that. And they didn't care because a lot of those kids that went to that school was kind of like rough around a little bit. So I was kind of like, whatever. But most of the time, I just kind of like reconnected with kids by playing basketball and talking to them about different things. Also mentioned God before to a few of those kids. Mm-hmm. And it was tough. But my grades weren't as well until I moved to Colorado, and then once I moved to Colorado, everything was better because I had the right support system. But that was the challenges I was facing, was the support system and also the work that they provided for me, because a lot of stuff was like tough. The science class was harder, everything was like harder, because they didn't have like an actual teacher that could work on like kids with disability. Because my disability is short-term memory, but they didn't understand that, so they didn't have like the necessary support for that. And so what it took me to get better was moving pretty much from California to Colorado. And ever since I started there, I joined a lot of stuff, and it just, everything worked out the way I wanted, and I was able to graduate last year. So that was a blessing, and that was nothing but God, because during those times, that's all we needed was God pretty much, because it was like a lot of, stuff going on. There was also drama, as well. So it was just staying positive, keeping a smile on my face is what kept me going, and that's with God as well, to give me advice. And he also was speaking to us around that time, during those times. So
right.
yeah, it's been a journey though, for sure.
I'm sure it has been, and you share some of your, you have shared some of your journey on our channel before, and opened up 2022, you and your brother in prayer and prophecy, and it was a very powerful audio back then, and now here we are, months later, and dramas and traumas and all sorts of stuff. One of the questions that I wanted to ask you is, as a young person being saved and being a musician, what are some of the challenges that you face now that you're 20-something? What are some things that you're dealing with being a believer?
I think the challenges is also watching, as a believer, is... what's it called? It's also like trying to see, like, if he's trying to go far in music, is trying to see, like, if these people are, like, really legit, and also not, like, signing contracts or not, like, that are, like, sketchy, because that's the thing that a lot of people are exposing now since COVID, is they're exposing the industry, and they're talking about how, like, if you sign a contract, they pretty much work you like a slave, and a lot of celebrities are speaking out about it. But I'm noticing that as myself, is that right now it's best to just stay independent during these times, because you can't do whatever you want once you sign a contract, and you also have people talking to you like, I think you should switch this up, and I think the pressure is really on once you're like, signing the wrong thing. But that's what I'm learning about life right now, is just watch what you're signing, and also read over what they're trying to give you before they give it to you. So if they give you a contract and it says like, oh, I want you to do this and that, and you don't want to do that, don't sign it. So that's the thing I'm trying to also keep my mind educated on the industry and how it works, and also just find the right people. If I do want to go farm music, just find the right team. Because people can do without a label. There's independent artists that are successful that make millions of dollars, but they don't talk about them too much. Because, like from the shows, before COVID, it was the shows that was making them money pretty much. But yeah, that's what I'm noticing now, is just watching what you're doing, and also like balancing God out to music, and also knowing like what I write about is that it's all about God as well. And then sometimes I get in the worldly side when I'm doing music, so I like talk about stuff that people are going through. Like I have this song on my YouTube channel called Hang In There. So I'm realizing like certain music is appropriate at certain times. Like I think right now the most people could do, instead of talking about nasty stuff, is talk about like stuff that's related to people's feelings, and also people that are going through stuff, like stuff that like can keep them like educated and focused. Like how about you talk about like society, or talk about like the positive part, and then also talk about the negative, like how we're going to go through a share of trials in your lyrics. I think that's a good advice for a lot of young artists that are trying to make it, is also just thinking about what's going on in society instead of talking about nasty stuff. Like just
exactly.
thinking about positive things.
Right.
Like bigger words too. That's how I like about the dictionary so much. When you showed me, the dictionary has a lot of new words you can put in your lyrics, and I feel like a lot of artists don't really know about all that, because they're not, they don't care. They copy, they see the Drake, they see the Jay-Z and all those artists, and they think, oh, because I saw this artist, I can rap about this. I just think that's the thing that they're not getting through their head right now, is that they're not putting out music that they should put out. You know what I mean? Like the labels are kind of telling them, put out this nasty stuff, put out this
right, because
like they're not they're not putting positive music out, and it's making me, it kind of makes me sad, because I'm like one of the only positive artists that people know, because they're so like brainwashed on the worldly side, the nasty stuff.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? They're making money off of nasty stuff every day. So that's the thing.
Right.
Yeah.
I need to let the audience know too that you are local. So right now you're rapping out of Colorado. You're an independent artist. You're not mainstream, and you're not wishing to sign on a label.
Yeah.
One of the things too is that there's this big, and just so the audience knows, Victor raps and he also sings. One of the things though that some people have a misconception is that the minute you say rapper, or if you're like taking photos with a bunch of guys, just there's so many things that people assume about you. Like if you're in a picture with a bunch of guys, they assume, oh, you know, you must be like them. You know, you must be a drug dealer, or you must be running, you know, for somebody.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's all these stereotypes. Can you just share a bit about, you know, the things that you've come across, even when you were looking at different music artists with their symbols and signs and colors? Can you just share a little bit about what you've learned over the years about image?
Like about the industry and how they'll put the symbolism in their music videos, like kind of dark stuff to promote a certain satanic ritual or something.
Yes.
I noticed when I was little, we all started watching videos on just how the industry works. And we noticed a lot of things is that they try to promote certain things. Like the recent thing that I noticed that's been promoted is Breonna Taylor in every single artist's performance, because maybe her parents or somebody was affiliated with the industry, because they were doing that with George Floyd for a minute, and then after that now they're talking about Breonna Taylor and they're saying do this and that justice or whatever. But that's what I noticed with Black Lives Matter. They're using their platform, like say I'm the Drake. I'm just gonna do examples. So say I'm Drake and I'm performing a song. After the song, they'll say something about Breonna Taylor, like justice for Breonna Taylor or something, just to promote her name and promote their brand. And I noticed that with the industry right now, they're promoting a lot of certain individuals in every single music video. So they'll have or not music video, but live performance. Like BET Awards just passed, so they're promoting Black Lives Matter, Black this, Black that, Black excellence, all this stuff, because of all the issues that are going on. But it kind of gets to that point where you're like, okay, we get it now, let's move on. But I noticed the industry got them so twisted in their brain, they can't talk about anything else other than either their songs or what they're singing, and also they're using symbolism, like certain colors and stuff to promote, like an example, when you go to funeral, certain people will wear black and stuff. That's what they're doing. They're using black, a death color, to promote their songs, or they're using people's names that recently just passed to promote, like Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, all this stuff that's going on. Right. But it's all there's more stuff to talk about, you know what I mean? There's always stuff to talk about, but they're using people's individuals' names to use for the industry. And I learned that you know, there's always someone behind the scenes, I notice, in the industry that's telling them to do certain things, because when you sign to a contract, you can't do whatever you want. So that's what I noticed with the industry.
That's key.
Promote this, promote that.
That's key, what you just said, that once you join the music industry, you cannot do what you want. Right.
Yeah, you can't just say, I want to take off this day. You can't say, Mom, me and my mom and my family, me and my everything, saying everything is yours. Say, oh, we're going to have a Thanksgiving dinner. No, I want you to perform. So, that's the thing. You don't have boundaries. So make up your own schedule, which I heard that from a lady named Summer Walker. She's in the industry, and she said that. She said that it's a stress a little bit, because this is before COVID. Well, when COVID kind of started, but she said that you wake up every day, and they're pretty much telling you what to do. It's kind of like the military. You wake up every day, you run at 5 o'clock in the morning. It's the same thing with the industry. You wake up every day, you wake up at a certain time they tell you. So you can't even sleep in, and you only get 3 hours of sleep. Then they want you in the studio, or they want you to go on that flight to go to Europe to perform in front of millions of people or thousands of people, and then you don't have a set schedule. They give you your schedule. So that's the thing. I'm not really ready for all that yet, because I know that's the type of industry that they're in. They don't have their own schedule. That's why when I see them sing, I'm like, why do they look so tired? It's because they got them working in the studio the day before. I want you to record 4 songs. I want you to record 5 songs. I want you to record a whole project. Certain artists have to get a deadline done by the end of the year. So they'll tell you, I want you to get 5 albums on, for example, Atlanta Records. They're one of the hottest labels right now. So say, I want you to record 5 albums next 4 years. And if you don't do it, then it's all you're going to try to drop out of it, but we have you on that label. You need to sign that contract. So they pretty much tell you, you have to do this, you have to do that. There's a lot of demand going on. So you can't do it kind of whatever you want, you know what I mean?
And then on top of that...
It's like Slade, Kanye West said, I got to give him credit. I'm not trying to promote him on your channel, but, just to let him know, he's, the thing that he's dealing with right now is the publishing. That's the thing that's going on with the industry right now. You can't get your own rights to stuff. So right now he's trying to fight over that. Music publishing. No. And that's the biggest deal right now in the industry. He's trying to let people know, we can't get our own rights to our own music, and he's pissed off about that pretty much. He's upset about it. Yeah.
Okay. There's a few points too that I wanted to make, because one of the things is, and some of you all don't know this, but Victor's my son, so being that I'm doing all sorts of audios and videos, and I'm speaking in tongues, I'm praising the Lord, I've got little pieces from back in the day when you guys were much younger, and we're talking about God related types of audios and so forth. And the thing is that now, because you're older, people are watching you more so. Like, okay, that's Enterprise 7, aka Nicholl's son. Nicholl, let me tell you what your son is doing. Can you just, I don't really know, like, because we hadn't even talked about this before the audio, but can you just kind of share some information that you're learning as you're getting older and you're becoming your own man, right? You're not just my son, but your own man. Can you talk a little bit about that? Because we've got the TD Jakes, right? That his son ended up going by the wayside. And then there were, some of these, Christian preachers and so forth, like TD Jakes with, big platforms, and people are looking like, what's up? Magic Johnson in the sports world and his son. And so,
I don't see they're all part of the same clique. Yeah, I was gonna mention that. How we were talking about when we were younger, we realized a lot of these people in the industry are all part of the same clique. Kirk Franklin, all of them, and they used them as the so-called puppets, just like they use for everything else, like presidential, everything that's inside our mainstream world. They use them as puppets to perform and do this stuff, but they don't realize behind the scene, Kirk Franklin could have a bunch of guys around them that's taking advantage of them in nasty ways or in good ways. So let's say, I want you to dress up like this, I want you to do that, and I'm realizing what gospel is the same way as like a Drake or Jay-Z. They're using them as the same way, because you got Tasha Cobbs working with Nicki Minaj, which is kind of weird, and it doesn't make no sense to me, but she's like, oh, she's like my sister, she's my friend, and I'm all like, just because she's your friend, I mean, it got people twisted, because you got Tasha Cobbs working with Nicki Minaj, you got, there's another lady that's working with a mainstream artist as well.
So with you, Victor, though, you don't have that type of element around you, though, because you said that you've been safeguarding yourself. So then, when you have a certain rap song and it's not faith based, it's not the dare we say it, positive music in the sense of Christian gospel, then what does that make you? I mean,
to me, go ahead. I just kind of tell people, like, when it's not like Christian or gospel, I always say positive words, but at the same time, it's confusing, because I did have my friend on that song, Sleep My Colorado Up, and I allowed him to say, like, obviously 2 bad words, but to me, that was his verse, that wasn't really mine. So I would kind of put myself in the middle right now, because I look at artists that are kind of in the same situation as me. They're talking about positive stuff or whatever, but they're kind of in the middle. Like me, I'm kind of in the middle. Mm-hmm. So I can say I'm a positive artist. Then, like, say if I accidentally have someone that was on my song and they said like a few bad words, they would kind of put me in the middle. So, like, but I'm not planning on doing any more collabs anytime soon, because I'm trying to stay, like, solo for now and work on just me, so I can promote just my brand, because that's what I've been always trying to work on. Like, I'm working on clothes right now and just trying to get my name out there more and more in different ways. Yeah, music right now is not really making any money. I mean, a lot of artists' music is flopping right now. They're not making millions of dollars. They're making like $40K, stuff like that. And they got a mansion, so, you know what I mean? So, with me right now, I'm just kind of finding out making money in different ways other than just music.
And I mean,
promoting clothes, promoting shoes, stuff like that.
And I noticed too that, for years you have been dressed in costume and you're dancing, and doing things. Can you share with us, your premise, behind the costume wearing and, some of the other little things that you do, like your freestyles and stuff. Can you just share like what your intention is behind that?
Like the intention of like me wearing costumes and like music videos, or it's just pretty much like to make my video stand out, because those are good like tips that I kind of got in mind. Like what's gonna make my video stand out the most is promoting certain superheroes, so a lot of kids still like it, and also just in general, like your videos will quite naturally get more attention if you like have yourself dressed in a costume instead of just yourself. Because I get kind of tired of just showing my face all the time, and that's like the image I like had in like all my music videos were kind of boring. It was kind of the same thing. Like, just like moving the hands like they always do in hip hop, and also just me like showing the lip sync of my voice that matches the audio. So So I was kind of like getting tired of that. So I was like, let me just dress up in my costumes. And I'm trying to, let that money sit around. You know what I mean? Make the money. So that was my go-to of wearing costumes and music videos was show off, the costumes I got, and also to, make money off of it. Because I got costumes that were pretty pricey. You know what I mean? Like they're not cheap. So I was just like, let me just use what I got. Kind of what I do in my videos when I DJ. You know what I mean? Using that money that I got, as a gift to, like, let people know, like, hey, I got a fancy DJ set, glows in the dark, you know what I mean? Like, promote some music. Even though I haven't been, like, I've been kind of in the middle. Like, I've been promoting more the worldly side kind of in DJing than, like, the gospel and stuff. Just to mix it up a little, because I know my audience kind of well. Like, a lot of them, I'm not trying to, like, kind of, like, move off the backside of, like, the Christianity and all that stuff, but a lot of them are kind of in the middle right now. Like, there's not really a lot of people that are kind of, like, on the 100% God side. They're kind of in the middle. So, like, EDM, I promote dance music. I promote, like, house music, hip-hop. That's songs that are popular right now, just to see if we can get some more views.
Okay.
And it's kind of all about the views right now. I'm trying to test out my audience because a lot of my audience are kind of mixed of everybody. You know what I mean?
So I guess my question is, because when you say you're in the middle, and I'm sure some of my listeners, their ears were perked up, like he said he's in the middle. That's dangerous. That's a dangerous place to be, because you're not picking sides. You're not picking, whether you're totally sold out for the Lord, but then you're not picking, being totally sold out for the devil. And some individuals will say, well, being that you're younger and you're still learning and growing, they kind of give you the pass. They'll give you the pass because, well, he's still developing, he's up, but see, once you get to be, like for instance, I interviewed someone earlier, elder and prophetess Chiquita. She, is has been in the church for a long time, and one of the things that she has done over the years was she kept her faith, even though, and she admitted, she said she had her times where she wasn't doing what she needed to do, according to the will of the Lord. But she kept her faith. So I guess in your situation, being that you're in the middle, what is it that what is it that you feel that you need to do to stay, to kind of get out of the middle, and draw near to the Lord?
No, man. Maybe just trying to escape to, I don't know, just stuff that's kind of like, how like you look at the news every day, that's like worldly too. So it's just kind of like maybe like escaping just the worldly side of things. Maybe just like kind of getting out of it, removing myself from it. I mean, that's the best I could say for that one.
Right.
But with me, like being a DJ and stuff, DJs always try different things. They always try different music. So that's the kind of thing I'm kind of on right now, just to see if my audience is really like tuning in on what music I'm doing or whatever, Because right now, nothing's really making money. I'm not gonna lie. Like I have nothing, no songs that I release. That's the struggle right now, is that no songs I release is making money. But it's only, like I was telling my fans, I was like, yeah, it's only 99 cents, So it's, I don't know, just like, it's just tough right now.
And it's so much. Yeah, it's so much competition, because it's just like with small business. I mean,
exactly.
I started in a small business freelancing and competing with giants back in the day. And it's hard for people to gravitate to the no-name Nancy, and then meanwhile you got all these big businesses that are out there. Well, I know them, but who are you? So I feel you there. I totally understand.
You can only try new things to stand out, because if you keep being the same person and kind of doing the same thing over and over again, people get tired of it. And that's the same thing how the industry got tired of R&B. They got tired of just people singing. They wanted to mix it up. They wanted to say, let's try mumble rap. Let's see how that's going to make it. And it's doing so good right now. So I don't know. It's all what you kind of put out, should I say. It's all what you want to do. It's all what you want to be creative into. Because, this world in general gets tired of the same thing. I think that's why you got artists that are still relevant to this day, is because they're trying out new things. If you keep staying in a box, and then they're not really going to feel your music like that, like they used to. Because a lot of artists right now are trying out new things, and they're actually making money off of it. So it's I don't know.
Right.
Like, I always wanted to get in commercials and stuff like that stand out, because I've been part of the school news for 3 years. And then I also did, like, you know, I also been around people that were, like, part of certain things. Like, I did modeling for a little while. And I was, like,
and you were doing acting,
modeling.
too. You were doing acting.
And acting as well. I actually got to perform in front of my classmates and stuff, and I actually remember the script for the first time, and I was actually really excited about it, because I'm like, oh, I finally remembered the whole script, you know? Because I used to have trouble remembering everything. So, yeah.
So you're single. You recently moved out of our home. How do you feel? How do you feel about being on your own? What's it like? You've been dealing with temptations.
It's definitely different. Yeah, it's definitely different. It's also like, you know, you always get those people that are like around you, like, oh, you know, can I come in and stuff? And I'm not really interested in really inviting anybody out like that. Like, that's always been like the case. You know, when you get a new place, you always get your friends or whoever that knows you have a new place. That, oh, can I come in or can I see it or whatever? I haven't invited any friends ever since I moved in August 2nd. So, I mean, right now I'm just kind of like in my own zone. I'm always trying to like create new things and also stay busy by like, you know, getting my basic needs done. Like if I have to go to the store and get something, I'm going to get something, or, you know, taking a lifts to get somewhere, or like, you know, also just like, you know, making my place look good, doing my laundry like I did today, and just always staying busy, because, you know, that's like the adult world, and I did that before the adult world, which, you know, I started doing my own cleaning and stuff when I was living with my dad and stuff. I did that stuff at a young age. I started like at 12 doing my own cleaning and all that. And I also, when I was seeing my mom every once in a while, you know, I was running there. And I was like the brother that actually was cleaning and stuff, which, you know, a lot of brothers, you think about brothers, you're like, a lot of them don't really do much, but out of all the brothers, I did the most, you know. And mom knows, my mom knows that. She was doing the most, like cleaning and just trying to help out, like cooking as well. So, like, it's kind of the stuff I learned at a young age, and I got to give my props to my family, my mom, shout out, and then my dad as well. Just, you know, like making me into a young man, my dad, and also my mom showing me different things at 8 years old, 9 years old, how to do stuff, how to mop, how to shampoo, how to vacuum. You know, just basic stuff. That's going to keep me to this day. Now I'm going to be 20, so it's been a journey, though, for sure.
Yes, God has been keeping you over the years. Do you think, though, that the church is doing a good job when it comes to helping singles? And do you feel like the church put too much emphasis on marriage and family?
Yeah, I think the church, you know, this is a word that they're using nowadays, no cat, which is no diss, but like pretty much it's just like, I think that they kind of put a lot of people in a box. They should like just let people kind of be and get to see the world for a minute, because the thing we noticed every time we would go to church is that they're kind of saying like everything that you're doing is kind of like that's to a certain extent. So say if you're like going with a family, you're watching like an action movie, they kind of put block holds on that, or if you're watching, you know, like, you know, if you're like watching a romantic movie with your loved one in marriage, they kind of put a block on that, like, oh, that's bad and stuff. But they, you know, that they're doing it too. It's kind of like telling that kid not to smoke cigarettes or not to smoke weed, you know. But they're not, you know. It's kind of like they're telling you not to do something, but they're doing it too. So it's like promote that and promote this. You know what I mean? Like they're just trying to promote certain things that are kind of not with the puzzle. You know what I mean? Like they're kind of telling you not to do this, but
being hypocritical, being hypocritical, being self-righteous.
Stuff, you know?
Yeah, and see,
you know, a lot of pastors do a lot of stuff.
That's right. That's right, and that's the other thing too, is that spirit. Because I got to thinking about some things when I was you know, interviewing the relative, but.
Oh, yeah.
One of the things I was thinking about is in the church, there's those spirits, and they're casting those spirits out. They're laying hands on people. They're delivering people. But sometimes, as my grandmother said back in the day, them spirits can jump off on you. So while somebody who might be still weak, background, I hear like some background noise because I want to hear your answers to some things. But one of the things that I noticed was that the pastor can very well be praying about something, but then he's weak to some things, you know. So
exactly, yeah.
Do you find though sometimes, Victor, that the pastors who you have talked to, do you find that some of the pastors when they were preaching to you about different things, did you pick up on some type of thing that was off with some of those guys that were talking to you?
I don't know. That's a tough one because I feel like they kind of like they say a lot of pastors will like look at the Bible, but they'll freestyle the half of it. So it's kind of like, yeah, I'm gonna read this verse of like John, whatever, but I'm gonna like kind of talk about the worldly side of things of how this and that needs to be saved. And yeah, I don't know. That's a tough one. I feel like every time I go to the churches, I feel like they're kind of saying what they're saying, but it's kind of hard to put my mouth on it because I don't really remember everything I read in the Bible. So I'm very visual. Like, I'm not really good at remembering stuff I read, which that's always been a disability I had since I was a kid. So I can't remember everything, but, I mean, no, I can't remember. Yeah. I haven't been in a church in a while, so it's like, you know, before COVID. So, you know what I mean? Like, that's the thing I don't remember.
Okay, yeah, but I understand because there's so much that goes. There's so much that goes on in church between the music and the ministers.
Yeah, you got people yelling too. So that's the thing that kind of throws you off when Pentecostal churches, when you know they're praising the Lord and stuff like that, kind of throws you off. So that's probably why I can't remember either, because I've been in the Pentecostal churches for a while.
Right.
I haven't been to anything else other than that. And then we went to that one church in you know, outside, not far from us. That was
right. That one was a it was a Church of Prophecy. The Church of Prophecy.
Yeah, and then we went to another one. So we went to quite a bit of churches.
Exactly. Yeah, because at the time we were moving as the Lord led us. I mean, every place that you move, you look for a church. That's like, as a believer, that's what we do. We look for churches. We look for a place where we can lay our heads, so to speak, in the spiritual realm.
And I can't picture it mentally. We could say stuff about what's around us in the church. I could talk about that, but I can't remember about what if the pastor's off. I think the thing I noticed in the church was this one guy that when I went to his church, he was a little off. He had a little mental issue, and I remember he was like kind of like slow. So I remember he kind of like was like trying to touch. I don't know if he was trying to like give me a high five or what. And I remember telling him like, "Oh man, can you scoot around or move out of like kind of like back up a little bit," because he was a little off. And I remember that story from Prophecy. Me and Royce and Weston were there, and they were giving us like cold nachos or something. I remember that story. But that's about it. I think if out of everything, we can talk about what's around us, maybe. But I can't remember what the pastor. That's hard.
Well, when we talk about what was around us at the time,
people that are sick, or you got someone that has a mental condition. Because I remember there was one person I was yelling at the Pentecostal church because he was a special needs adult, and I remember he was making them noises and stuff when the pastor was talking. But that's about it. I think that's the only thing. The people coughing, you always get people that come in kind of sick, but they kind of like stay away from you.
Yes.
Like
and that's why I was hesitant. Right. That's why I was hesitant about even attending, you know, churches with this pandemic and everything. And I know that the Lord didn't lead me to, but man and woman, you know, they want you to come. But I'm like, no, I'm sorry. I'm not going to do that, because I remember getting sick quite a few times attending the church, attending the church. Yep. I didn't have no sore throat. I didn't have no sore throat. My eyes was not watery. I didn't have no type of issues. But then it would be days after we attended service, and I'm like, why do I feel this way? And then my mind would go back to, you shook hands. You were crying. You took your, tears. You wiped your tears. You touched somebody who rubbed their nose. During a deliverance service, you're going to have individuals who, there's going to be body fluids, especially if they're yelling. There's going to be body fluids, and people are going to be spitting because the demons are coming out of them. So they're going to call names. And I would be in those circles, and I was like, maybe that's why those times when we ended up leaving the service days later, I started picking up on illness. So I definitely don't want to take those chances now. I mean, if somebody wants deliverance prayer, what have you, we do that from a safe distance, like over the phone, like what you and I are doing. But how can listeners get in contact with you? We do have our younger populace that tune into the channel. Do you have some contact information that you want to shout out real quick?
Like just for them, like text me back or something, or
contact information that you feel comfortable sharing.
Like my email.
You can do that.
Yeah, because I was gonna say my phone on now. I've been getting a lot of scams. Yeah, so it's gonna be kind of hard to like really.
Just go ahead.
And I'm working.
Yeah, just go ahead and give your email.
All right, so it'd be Victor and then Kemp, KEMP, number 6 at gmail.com. My main name, that's my main email, yeah.
Okay, spell it out.
VI, C as in cat, T as in Tom, O as in octopus, and then R as in rabbit, and then my last name, well, it's all together, and then K as in kangaroo, E as in elephant, M as in Mary, and then P as in Paul, and then the number 6 at gmail.com.
All right.
Victor Kim 6 at Gmail, yeah.
Thank you so much, Victor. You gave us a wealth of information. I pray in Jesus' name that each and every individual who has been listening, that you take heed, especially when you're in the industry or thinking about being a part of the industry, that you know what you're getting yourself into. And we also take this moment right now in the name of Jesus to pray for Victor, that where he is right now, Lord, you know what he's going through. You know what his struggles are. You know what his strengths are. And we just pray, Lord Jesus, that you will guide him accordingly. All right. Thank you so much, Victor. Blessings to you. Blessings to each and every listener. Please do check the description box for anything that is of interest. We do welcome giving on this channel, and thank you in advance. To God be the glory.